All right, we only have one more Contender Series event for 2020 that goes down this Tuesday at the Apex in Las Vegas, and one of the men who'll be taking place in the final fight of the 2020 campaign joins us right now. He is Nick Maximov, who will be bumping up to heavyweight for this fight, take on Oscar Cota. Nick, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing good. That long, blonde, flowing hair. We were talking a little bit off air that's going to be no more pretty soon. By the time this thing airs, it'll probably be all gone.
I think so, dude. It might be. I get a haircut in about an hour or two, so yeah, it might be gone.
So how long has it been, like, since your last fight, or?
Oh man, it's been growing out. I've had one cut since the whole quarantine, and I just trimmed it a little bit. But yeah, I had it my last fight and everything. So yeah, I've been growing it out, man. It needs to go. You know.
Do you typically get a cut like every couple of weeks, or just before every fight?
If I have a short like summertime, I get a cut like every 2-3 weeks. I'm pretty like OCD about it.
I've been that way myself, and then unfortunately I lost the battle, so I just gotta pick it every couple of days. But
right.
Great opportunity for you coming up on Tuesday, man. 5-0. I know it's not at the weight class you typically fight at, and we'll get into that in a moment. But when you found out that you got the call to compete in front of Dana White and the matchmakers, was your reaction like, wow, this came really, really fast? Or was it more like, about time, I'm 5-0 and finishing everybody, of course this call should be coming?
You know, it's a little bit of both, I would say. I didn't expect to get it so soon or right now, but I was hoping to get something like this eventually. You know, and I didn't think I'd get it on the last week of the Contender Series either. I kind of forgot it was still going on because I think it just started again in like November or October. So I was kind of caught off guard. I thought it was gonna be like an LFA fight or whatnot. But, you know, I'm excited. You know, my last fight was a little bit harder to deal with. There was the fires everywhere. Our gyms were just kind of doing some stuff with it. So now weather's better, you know, training's a full go. So everything's a lot better this time around.
So this has been just a crazy year for you in multiple ways, not just because of the pandemic, but the fires and everything else too, right?
It was pretty awful, man. It was seriously like the air quality was no lower than probably like 110. That's not like the weather. That's just air quality. So, and it was like that for about like a month or two, you know, so you can't really go outside, can't work out outside, and kind of have to just stay inside the whole time.
So when there are fighters who, well, it's like a cliche thing, but it's true when they say like, you know, I fought this guy on my worst day or like my worst camp. Was that kind of how it was for this last fight for you?
You know, what's funny is they're like, oh, this guy's a work. They were talking about my opponent, right? And, I saw after that the guy that they were saying, this guy's a workhorse. He's always in the gym. He's never out the gym. And I'm like, man, I think I was in the gym like a handful of times for this camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, the gyms were closed because of COVID. California was really strict, or was at the time. So it's very like hard to get a workout in. And I was like, man, if I could beat a guy of that caliber, that good, you know, explosive, big, on one of my worst days, I'm like, I wonder who I could beat on my best.
So your confidence must be at a whole new level right now.
Yeah, sure. I try to stay humble and pretty leveled, you know. But at the same time, it does help, you know. A performance wasn't that great, but getting the win under the certain circumstances was pretty nice.
So you were originally scheduled to face Matthias Scheffel on this card at 205, but he was forced to pull out after testing positive for COVID. And since there were no lightweights available, they presented you Cota at heavyweight. So how did you react to that? Because this is just got to be a one-time thing for you, right? Moving up to heavyweight?
I hope so, man. But if another great opportunity comes, they might have to take it. But with that being said, I do hope so. I think I'm a real 85er, if you want my honest opinion. But I fight at 205 just because right now that's the only opportunity. And then heavyweight, it's like, do you just let it go by and maybe wait a few more months to fight again? Or even a Contender Series comes, next summer? So what? I'm like, if this opportunity never comes again, do I just let it go or do I take it? And I'm like, maybe a guy that's, I don't know. I'd rather risk it all right now at a young age, 5-0. Risk it going to heavyweight rather than if I was 30-something years old, you know, maybe not a lot to lose, a lot to gain. You know what I'm saying? That type of standards. Like I was just trying to play it out all in my head and what I'd rather do. And I was just thinking that the risk is pretty high, but the reward's even higher.
Yeah, I agree. Because obviously you're expecting to go in there and win the fight, but even if you're in there and you're competitive and you come out relatively scot-free in terms of injuries and all that stuff, like they could just see you and be like, oh, there's a spot open. Let's call this guy up and give him a shot.
Well, I'm like, I want to make it well known to everybody. It's like, this is not just a weight class up. This might be 2 weight classes up if you talk about UFC standards. So I'm like, and Dana loves that type of stuff. He praised Conor for going up to 170, saying he'd fight anyone, any given time. And same with that new guy that from Sweden, the Kosmak guy. I can't even pronounce his name. But you see him, he fought at 171 week and 185 the next. And it's like, people love seeing that and they respect it. And Dana loves it even more. You know what I mean? So it's not even about impressing the audience or whatnot. It's about impressing Dana. That's who you want to impress. So going up a few weight classes and then putting on a show, I think that will just it's not even about winning. It's just about making people want to see you again. Making yourself an attraction to people and people wanting to just keep on watching you, like Sean O'Malley. People always want to watch him no matter if he wins or loses.
Because if Dana talks to Lorosenko and offers you a contract, that's the first thing he's going to say. This kid took a fight on short notice. This kid went up 2 weight classes. It's going to be the first thing coming out of his mouth.
It's a short notice. It's like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Granted, I was already kind of training a little bit, but I'm like 3 weeks to really try to notch, take it up a notch and go in a high gear is kind of hard to do.
So this has been, like you're talking about, it's just been a crazy year. You had the quick finish in January, and luckily, good old Uncle Chael has kept you pretty busy. What 4 grappling matches with Submission Underground? How important has that been for you? And on top of that, Chael obviously seeing something in you to keep bringing you back. How big has that been for you this year?
Well, I think Chael knows. I think obviously I'm a good grappler, but I bring a good audience to the Submission Underground. I've done it for like 4 years, ever since like the second event. I've been loyal to them. They're great people. And him keeping me active compared to this guy, I've already competed about 7 to 8 times on big shows, whether they're pay-per-views or whatnot, they have an audience. And this guy's competed once this year. So just even doing that, even fighting without a crowd, man, is a crazy experience. It's not something you can really explain. Even grappling without an audience, it's kind of weird, let alone fighting. You can hear their breathing, you can hear the punches, you can hear their corner. It's just a totally different feel.
Did you like it?
Not really, but you got to do what you got to do. If you want my honest opinion, though, I'm not going to say, I did not. I think you can feed off the energy off the crowd in a really positive way.
Do you think it'll be different being in a fist fight, being in the cage as opposed to a grappling match with no people? Because there are still going to be people there watching and stuff. You'll be able to hear your corners, his corners, Dana reacting to a crazy thing. Like it's a little bit different.
Yeah, at the LFA that I just fought at, there was a few people there. Wasn't too crazy, but there was a few people there, and you can hear them or whatnot. But to a fist fight, I just didn't really enjoy it, not having a crowd. But you got to adapt to it. So
you train at Nick Diaz Academy with Nick and Nate and everyone over there, and I'm sure you're asked about them like in every interview that you do. But you cannot pick 2 better guys to learn from, really, not just from like a fighting perspective, because they just have so much experience, but from a business perspective as well. They're just as popular, even probably more so arguably when they don't fight than when they do fight. So what has that been like, sort of getting 2 educations from those guys, from the business standpoint, the fighting standpoint, and the rest of your coaching staff on top of that?
Yeah, man, it's they probably are more attractive now than they have ever been, both of them, and they haven't fought in a year. Well, Nate has, and Nick's been however long, 5-6 years, So I would say you learn from their positive, but you also learn from their mistakes. Like Nate always talks about the mistakes he made when he was a kid, and do this, don't do that. When he was on Ultimate Fighter, when it was his like first contract, like what to do and what not to do. And just kind of when you're on social media, how do you attract people? What do you do to make people want to see you fight and this and that? But he always explains just to be you and be unique. People are going to want that. They don't want a show. They don't want something fake or like a WWE persona. They want something real. And I think that's what attracts people about Nate, or even Jorge. What you see is what you get. So I think that's kind of what they preach, and it's what you get.
I have to ask, because everyone saw the photos of Nick a couple months ago looking shredded, did the mock weight cut. Seems like he's ready to make a go at this once again. Nate obviously active on social media, calling out everybody under the sun. if you had to guess, do you believe we're going to see one of those guys sooner rather than later? Or both of them, maybe?
I would think Nate probably pretty soon. I think this COVID thing's kind of in the way. Hopefully it starts dying down a little bit and we can get maybe a crowd or something like that. I think that's when you'll probably see Nate is with an audience. And with Nick, I think it's just, it's just up to him. I don't want to speak for him, but it sounds like he wants to fight. He's in the gym. He's training. If you follow him on social media, you can see he's boxing a lot. He's doing jiu-jitsu. So I think he wants to do it. I just think right now is kind of a weird time for him to come back, especially Nick. I don't think Nick would want to come back with no audience.
Right. Are either of them going to be in your corner on Tuesday?
I do not think so, but they will be in Vegas. I'm pretty sure. So. All
right. So you'll have them with you either way.
Yeah, totally.
Let's talk about the matchup, because in terms of experience, Oscar's the most experienced guy that you'll step in the cage with. 11-2. He's a finisher like you. Doesn't have the 100% finish rate like you have, but more oftentimes than not, it doesn't go to the judges. Big guy as well. Do you typically watch film on your opponents and see what they bring, or do you not care at all since you're so focused on yourself and what you're going to do?
Sure. I think everyone watches their opponents to a certain extent. For me, I don't watch too much because, like my last guy, he just pulled out. So if I was focusing so much on watching tape on him and just wasting all that time where I could have been focusing on myself, it's just time wasted. So, of course, I'll watch a little bit and whatnot, but I don't try to overdo it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But training-wise and what he does, he's a bigger dude. He's fought big dudes. I seen he fought 205 2 years ago. Something like that. So I know what he brings to the table. It's kind of like a typical heavyweight. Power, moves a little bit, but gets tired in the later rounds, and hopefully there's some things I can exploit on him.
You say you feel like you're more of an 85er than a 205er. Does that mean what do you have to do? What are you, like 215 or something? Like you probably don't have to cut that much, 205?
Yeah, 215, 220 on the dot, yeah.
So no weight cut at all for this one. You digging that?
No, man. Burritos and talk. No, I'm just joking. But not a weight cut really. But still eating healthy, still being smart, getting the workouts in. It's not just because I'm going up a weight I can be lazy.
So you're only 22, man, and you're still years away from hitting your athletic prime, which can be a scary thing, especially starting off like you have. And a lot of the fighters getting the shot, like Oscar, been around a while, a little bit older. Oscar's had double-digit fights. You're getting yours at 5-0. So like, getting the contract might mean something different. Ooh,
my bad.
Yeah, nice sliding door there, my friend. Like you getting this opportunity I feel like you're playing with house money is what I'm kind of trying to say here. Like, I feel like a little more pressure's on him because you still have this long way to go. So if you hear the words and everything goes the way you want it to, like, hey, Nick, your performance was bleeping awesome. Come get your bleeping contract. What is that going to mean to you?
I think the world, to me, it's really like I explained it to somebody the other day, man. I've been doing this since I was 11, 12 years old, about 10 years, if not a little bit more. And this is like all anybody works for, and this is all I've worked for. So it's like, to get this contract, it doesn't mean it's the end all. What I'm saying? It's the start of a new journey, a new chapter. But at the same time, it's like, this is what I've worked for, at a young age to be in such a big stage and fight the highest guys, the best of the best. It means the world to me, And then also when I fight better guys, when I fight better guys, I want to say it brings out the better in me, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's cool fighting all these guys like on the regional scene and whatnot, but that's not the goal. It's not the goal to be the best on the regional scene or a king in the cage or this or that. The goal is to be the best in the world, and that's probably in the UFC. So.
How do you see this all going down on Tuesday night? How do you cap off the season and walk away with the contract here?
Man, I don't want to be a boring fight by any means, especially the last fight of the last season of the year, you know what I mean? So it's kind of got to go out guns, blazing and kill mentality, but I don't want to force anything. He's a big dude. He's a strong dude from what it looks like. So I don't want to force anything, exhaust myself because he's going to be carrying a lot of weight. So I'm going to try to make him move, get him tired, and then capitalize on something. I'm not going to rush anything, be stupid. Just take my time and be calm and hopefully get a good finish.
With you being 5-0, I mean, if you go out there and just smash this guy, you're probably getting a contract. But, we've seen guys go out there and smash dudes and get highlight reel knockouts. And either they don't get a contract, they get developmental deals, or in some case, like Josh Parisian, he got a shot on the Ultimate Fighter. And I know the UFC is bringing back the Ultimate Fighter, and one of the weight classes is 185. So if Dana says, listen, we like this kid, he's unique, he's got a great personality, he's a good fighter, I just want to see a little bit more out of him, I want to offer him a shot on the Ultimate Fighter, would you do something like that?
I've heard good things, but I've heard a lot of bad things about the Ultimate Fighter, just in the sense of what it takes, pay. I mean, it's real fight. 6 weeks, you get like 3 fights if you make it all the way. And they're no joke fights, It'd be something I have to really think about. That's a tough one, So, but the goal is just to get the contract and whatnot. And at upper weights, man, they're kind of starving for talent and some new guys. So, obviously, Adesanya is a big attraction right now at 85, and he's going to 205. But they need some new blood at 205 for sure.
Yeah, because we've seen contract winners, especially this season, turn around real quick. Like I've talked to like 3 or 4 guys who got their debut fights booked like the day after they got the contract on the Contender Series. So if all goes the way you hope it does on Tuesday, are you hoping that debut comes in before the end of the year in a perfect world?
Man, that'd be great, huh? If I came in, and got out without any bumps or scratches, man, that'd be pretty freaking great. I'd love to. Why not? I don't know how many more fights there are by the end of the year, but that'd be pretty great.
Did you do you went out to Vegas and did like your interviews and stuff, the pre-fight stuff? Is there going to be any crazy stories that we're going to find out on Tuesday?
Probably not. They didn't get too much into detail about that. It'd be cool though. I'd be happy to do it sometime, but some cool stuff. But yeah, no, nothing really. It was all business. So it was a little intimidating, man. They were pretty, definitely very professional. They don't screw around.
Yeah, because normally it's like you watch them the stories and you just they're like tear jerkers almost, like some of the hardships they had to go through. So yours is not going to be like that, I guess.
Probably not, man. I'm just coming here to fight, Now these guys, most of those guys, yeah, for sure.
Have you? I mean, you're eventually going to go to 85. That's the plan. But have you sized up 205 at all, like in the UFC? Like, is there anybody that you've seen that you're like, if I get a contract, like I want to fight this guy? Because Jared Vandera just got a contract, called the guy out, and got him like right away.
Oh, did he really? Oh,
yeah, he called out. Yeah, he called out Sergey Spivak, and now he's fighting him at UFC 255 at 256.
That actually be a pretty good fight. There's no one. That's something I should probably go over this weekend. Who I'd want to call out. I have a few people in mind. I like the William Knight guy. I think he's built like a freaking Greek goddess. But man, that'd be a great fight. You know what I'm saying? Though that he's built like a freaking linebacker. But man, it'd be a good fight for sure.
The pace in that fight would be ridiculous. Between the two guys.
I think it'd be good. I think it'd be entertaining. And that's what it's all about, is being entertaining. It's an entertaining sport. No one wants to see people like Kamaru Usman just lay on people. You know what I'm saying? People want to see people fight. So that's kind of hopefully what I can bring.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that happen on Tuesday, Nick. Love the gusto to take this fight up essentially 2 weight classes. But all the best to you, man. Safe travels to Vegas. Appreciate the time, and best of luck on the fight, man.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to me, man. I appreciate it.